And we are live. Okay. Happy Thursday, everyone.
Feelings. It's about our family, and our family's a part of it. Happy to go. Good. Now go on and change. We gotta get to the church. We are literally at the church. We are working. That is not acceptable. Get here now. It's not okay. They promised they have those flowers here. What about this, Sissy? Yes, you do. Mom, why are we getting so upset about those flowers?
Okay. So it is a new year. To be said, stating the obvious. And we were talking with some of our bookkeepers yesterday about just kind of all the distractions that we see on Facebook and in Facebook ads, or just in general as you're a part of groups and community. And what we find with a lot of our bookkeepers is they started their business to have time freedom, to have a really good income, a stable income. And what ends up happening year one, they start out strong. Maybe there's only a couple of months left in the year. Say you started in like June, and you're heading down the right path, right? You're able to hit that income goal. You get there quickly, and you look up year two and you're like, okay, this is working. I'm going to take this seriously. And over the course of year two, as we've pulled our students, it is super easy to get distracted. So now you found some communities that you really relate to, and you see someone who just signed 6 clients in a month. Now you feel like you need to be signing 6 clients in the month. And so now, instead of staying super focused to what you're doing, you're now looking at, okay, well, I clearly don't know how to get clients because I haven't gotten clients in 6 months. So I'm going to attend this webinar and this training. I'm going to buy this thing. And oh, I saw this person had a testimonial on so-and-so site, so maybe I should try that thing. It was working for her. And I'm not saying that those aren't good things. I just wonder if they're the best way, the most efficient way to grow your bookkeeping business. The other thing, so marketing, right? So now there's this distraction of, I just saw what someone else is doing and I'm not doing the same thing income wise or number of client wise. And just an aside, I think competing on number of clients size is a bad idea, because one person can have 6 clients doing 10,000 a month. Another person could have 40 clients doing 10,000 a month. So number of clients is a really bad idea to compete on. And you don't know if they're just telling you the number of clients, you don't know how much they're charging. You do not know how much they're making. You do not know what their expenses are to get those clients. And you do not know how much they're paying out in contractors to sustain the clients, all of those things. Okay, so just an aside. The second distraction that we see is advisory and higher level services. Those are great, but they come with time. They come once you understand what you're doing, you understand how you're providing your service, you understand how you're pricing and what your value is to the client. They do not come from day one. They are not the answer to your income problem. We see a lot of students come to us and their goal was 6 figures, or their goal became 6 figures after they were in groups. And the only way, because 6 figures for them has been taunted to us over, so my husband, go to school, grow up, go to school, get a job, buy whatever you want. That's what he was told. That was what was ingrained in him growing up, going to college. And so he did just that. And for whatever reason, the 6-figure income carrot was dangled there, right? So you grow up, go to school, get a job, get a 6-figure job, and then you can buy whatever you want. Like, that's really what was being said to him. 6 figures isn't necessarily hard. Like, it's just math, right? And I'm going to clarify, like, it is hard. Like, it is hard to get there because we have to overcome our own mindset issues. We have to overcome our own processes. We have to overcome our own fear, our own doubt that it's possible. But in a bookkeeping business, 6 figures over 12 months is 8,300. Let's call it 8,500 for kicks and giggles, 8,500 a month. And let's say our average client or base client, depending on how you want to look at it, is 500 a month. That's only 17 clients. And that's not including cleanup work that they came with. That's not including clients that are 2,500, right? So you might need 10 clients and you've got a 6-figure income. So that's not that hard. So I want you to stop focusing on, like, I've got to offer the world to my clients in order to make 6 figures. Here's the result of getting distracted. So you're getting into groups, they're talking about scaling. I need to scale, I need to grow, I need to automate, I need to provide advisory, I need to provide coaching, I need to do something more. I need to become more than I already am, than God has already made me. I need to become something different. I need to learn something new. I don't already have the creativity. I don't already have experience to give clients. Those are lies, right? God made you. He gave you some creative bent. He gave you some sort of knowledge. Believe me, at least I am on a rant. Like, bear with me, and then we'll totally open for Q&A. But God gave you unique life experiences. We're all adults here. You're not 18. I don't see anyone on this call that's 18 just starting a bookkeeping business. Most 18-year-olds aren't trying to do what you're doing. You shouldn't be competing with the 20-year-old that has all the time in the world because they don't have kids and they're not married yet. You have kids and you're married and you have a full-time job, possibly. Right? Or you're married and you have commitments. We shouldn't be comparing our life to that of a 20-year-old. With that said, you have unique experience that you can bring to the table for a business owner. Just by being in groups like this one that you're in right now, you have probably learned some things you didn't know 6 months ago. Maybe you've learned that S Corps need to be on payroll, and you didn't know that when you first got started. Maybe you didn't know business owners can't commingle business funds. They can't just swipe their debit card to pay for groceries. Maybe you didn't know that 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago when you first just got started. Maybe 2 years ago, you didn't know how they could use becoming an S Corp to save $5,000 a year in taxes or more. Maybe you didn't know that they could put their vehicle on the books and get that depreciation expense to save them taxes. Maybe you didn't even know what to suggest to a client on how to budget their income. Maybe you get asked all the time budgeting questions because you're really good at budgeting. And now you found a resource such as Mike McAllowitt's book, Profit First, and now you become an asset to your clients. That is advisory. So before we get distracted with advisory, let's learn the foundation first. And we answer questions on those things. We've helped students with, land $5,000 tax strategy, advisory packages, but that comes after getting that foundation right. So back to the risk. So if you get distracted, if you let yourself start to measure yourself against everyone else instead of what your goal was and what God has called you to do, if you start measuring yourself against everyone else, you create a business you hate. You get burned out, and now you're trying all the things. You're sitting at your desk 10 hours a day, not making the income you wanted. So instead of hitting that six-figure target, which you could have hit, 6 months ago, if you were just focused on your business, you're now taking this job, this 2-hour-a-week job doing invoicing that you never wanted to do, which is distracting you. You're trying to learn taxes. You're trying to learn advisory. You're trying to learn how this person did her website, because maybe the website's the answer to my problems. You're trying to learn how to do Pinterest and Reddit and YouTube and podcast, and you have no clear focus while you're trying to post on Facebook every day because you want to be like Megan and get paid by Facebook. I just think that's cool, Megan. That's like, whatever it is, whatever that distraction is, no one can replace you. No one can be you. And those distractions are not giving you a business that you really want to enjoy. And it kind of broke my heart yesterday hearing some of the bookkeepers get distracted because it's unnecessary. It is 100% unnecessary to not be at six figures by your third year, in your third year of business, if not sooner. Megan, am I wrong on any of that?
Nope.
Megan and I have looked at our financials. We've looked at, we were polling some students yesterday as this conversation came up, and year 3, if you make it to year 3, you're doing something fantastic. So if you're in year 2, hang in there. If you're in year 2 and you've hit 6 figures, way to go being focused. If you're in year 3 and you haven't hit 6 figures, it's not necessarily because you're distracted. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe your goal is just $3,000 a month and you're taking home $1,500 every month, and that's all you wanted, and you wanted to be working 5 hours a week. Praise God you hit that goal. Praise God you have that goal. I don't think everyone needs a 6-figure income. Is it nice? Sure, but if it's causing you to work 40 hours a week and your goal was to work 5, let's refocus and get back to the goal. I was just talking to someone today. She's making $3,000 a month, working 10 hours a week. So she earned $45,000 this year, second year of business. So she is following the trajectory me and Megan have analyzed, and she's working 10 hours a week. Or did she say a month? Let me. 5 to 10 hours a week. 5 to 10 hours a week. She's working about 30 to 40 hours a month. And 40 is being generous. That's like every email, every text, rounding up for those. Okay. Guys, I know this, sometimes we're more chatty here, but I just felt like someone needed to hear that. Someone needed to get back to what it was their goal was, instead of being distracted on, now I need to offer something I never set out to offer. You do not need a beautiful lead magnet to get clients. You do not need everything everyone's selling you. Keep in mind, they're selling you. That's their job. It's their job to convince you their product is worth something. Just like it's your job to tell business owners, hey, it's actually your job, because you know that you can save them money, to go save them money. If you have a business owner friend who is, has their mom doing bookkeeping and it gets done once a year, that business owner, that business owner does not have the information they need to run their business well, to steward that business well, to steward that income well. Jennifer says comparison is a confidence killer. 100%. 100%. I had someone in my inbox yesterday. Man, yesterday was a busy day. I had someone in my inbox yesterday asking me, in essence, like desperately, I'm trying to go from bookkeeping to advisory. Whose program do I join? If you 100% need a program to understand how to move from bookkeeping to advisory, and I don't mean like the nitpicking, how do I structure the service? How do I position this from a marketing standpoint? I think those are really good things that will help you position that package. But if you're like, I have no clue what I would even give a client, I have no clue how to even serve a client in this manner, you're not there yet. And advisory and CFO services, what a lot of people are pitching on CFO services are not CFO services. They're controller services. Advisory could be as simple as helping them with their budget. It could be as simple as telling them if they're profitable or having a profit plan for restaurants or for your niche, whatever, insert your niche there, right? And guys, I'm watching the chat, so if you want me to go on a rant on something, let me know. But I'm not really trying to rant. I am trying to share, like, we see it happen all the time. Year 2, year 3, you're desperately trying to hit your income goals. You're like, okay, this thing's working. I can do more because we're doing more. There's a whole group of bookkeepers hitting 6 figures or more, like low 6 figures to 250,000 to 300,000 to 500,000. That happens. But if you don't want a business that comes with $1 million business or a $500,000 business, if you don't want to do that work because maybe you're heading towards retirement and you don't want to work 80-hour weeks anymore, 40-hour weeks anymore, then don't do it. I follow someone on Facebook Reels, I guess, and she's a hospice nurse. I don't know how I follow her, but I don't even know if I follow her, but she shows up all the time and I love her. She is amazing. She just started a nonprofit but anyway, she's been collecting emails from the elderly, and someone sent her an email yesterday saying, that I saw yesterday that said, I went to law school. I spent 8 years studying law. Year 1 into my lawyer career, I realized I hated it. I didn't want to do it. I went to my friends and family, and they told me I spent 8 years studying for this. It would be a mistake to leave. It'd be a mistake to waste all of that time. 8 years. It'd be a mistake to waste all of that time. And so I did what they suggested. I spent the next 50 years in a job I hated. I was miserable. Guys, I don't want that for you guys. Doing something that makes you miserable. I know a marketing coach, that hit $1 million a year, which, I mean, fantastic. I think he was in his 3rd year in business when he did that, maybe 4th. I want to say 3rd. If I'm remembering correctly, he hit $1 million. He's a homeschool dad with his mom or with his wife. They homeschool their children. He works from home. Guys, he would rather be playing Pokemon with his kids than work all day to strive for $1 million business. Your why is very important. That's why we focus so much on it. So if you're in any of our programs, you're going to see us focus on your why. And we focus on it so hard because we cannot give you direction, nor do we want to give you direction that takes you off that why. We had someone recently in our group I met with. he's been with us over a year now. And when he started, he wanted $1 million business. Well, his first goal was to just get the business started again. His second goal was $1 million business, because he's more than capable of running $1 million business. He's got young kids at home, guys. He hit that 6-figure target within 9 months. He was heading towards $1 million, right? Like that was his goal. We were chatting not too long ago. He shelved the $1 million business idea. Could he? He can pull it off the shelf at any time. But now is not the season. And I think getting into all of these, like seeing all of these influencers make $1 million, make 10 million through these programs, inspirational. Now is the time, right? But it might not be your time. And you might need to say no to something that they're doing to say yes to the life you want to live. My last thought, and then we'll transition to Q&A, is I was listening to Chalene Johnson, which, if you know, back in the 90s, actually, I don't know if that's the correct year, but when fitness was all the craze, she was one of the leading like fitness personalities, right? So back when fitness education was on DVDs, she was in that era, and blonde, all of those things. So Chalene Johnson, she is a business coach today. She coaches one of the coaches that I like helps coach me, mentors me. And I was listening to an interview with Chalene Johnson and Omar from, well, I think it's his own channel, but he's in the Think Media crowd. If you're looking for the interview, you could find it by Chalene Johnson, type Omar, Omar. And in that video, she said this. She described her life as an entrepreneur, as a mom entrepreneur. And Omar has just had a newborn baby, right? And she shared that she had to say no to getting on stage. She had to say no to keynotes. She did one ever so often, but she said no to them. And she's a personality, guys. She said no to them. And she instead did a podcast that she didn't have to be on her face for, right? So she didn't have to put makeup on, get dressed, get on a podcast or, video. She chose podcast because she could do podcasting at 10 p.m. at night while her kids were asleep. She chose over money, and she makes plenty of it. I'm assuming, like, she seems like she makes plenty of it, right? She said all of those things. She chose the life she wanted to be living over comparing herself to what others were doing. I want that for you. I want you to choose the life you want to be living over comparing yourself to others, or trying to achieve what you think someone might be achieving, because there might be a very rocky foundation under what you see them posting on Facebook. They might not got their act together. It might look good. It might look like they signed 10 clients, and what you don't know 6 months later is they lost all of them. We've seen that happen. You don't see that. That doesn't get posted on Facebook. Me and Megan get these stories all the time. We see it because we're physically talking to these people. I promise you, if they're posting on their Facebook page that they signed 10 clients and 6 months later they lost them all, they're not doing a post saying, hey, I lost all my 10 clients. So do not compare. You do not know what is under the surface. Instead, what I want to encourage you to do is just show up. You guys know that God is in everything me and Megan do. I want you to show up to his glory, stewarding this bookkeeping business to his glory, and striving to do the best you can every day. And then we're just going to make 1 to 2% improvements every single day. How can I automate this? How can I improve this? How can I make this better? And sometimes that's not just touching the business. That might be to improve your life, saying, okay, I'm going to go on a walk every day because I don't get enough vitamin D. So I'm going to go at 10 a.m. I'm going to put a calendar reminder on my phone. And at 10 a.m., I'm hitting outside so I can go get some vitamin D. Right? Like 1% better is how we're going to improve our life. We're going to record a video soon on how to become a virtual millionaire. And guys, I'm really excited about it. If any of this actually hit a nerve, you'll be excited about this video because in that video, we're going to share something I realized in doing some of the analysis on our bookkeepers is how to become a virtual millionaire so that you can live like a millionaire sooner than you think. It's something I've been implementing and realized talking to Megan and the other bookkeepers as we pulled all of the data together this year. I'm a really huge like data freak at year end. So if you haven't looked at your own data, please go do that. But anyway, we were doing some conversations around this specifically, and I think it's really cool. So I'll share that in another episode, another video. I think we can go ahead and open it up to Q&A, but do not compare your business to someone else's. Do not get distracted. Stay on course, stay the par. When it's time to pivot, we're here to help. So if you're looking to offer higher level services, if you're looking to see how you can, better the service that you're providing, we're here for that. But that doesn't come first. And if it does, like, because you have prior experience, so like when I first started, I was doing financial analysis. That's actually like, I defaulted to a niche when I started, not knowing it was a niche. If you have a skill like that, absolutely talk to us. Let's see if we can package it. Go ahead. And you can do that right out of the gate. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm saying when you know that you're able, you'll know that you're able. And then we can craft a package around it and then bring in the tools to fill in the gaps. Until then, basic bookkeeping is okay. Just doing bookkeeping is okay. Don't let anyone tell you not doing that, like you can't just be a bookkeeper, that you have to provide tax or you have to provide advisory. You do not have to do anything. Okay, there's mine. You do not have to do anything other than live to the glory of God. Okay, Megan. We had some questions on 1099s tisk this season. Elise, did you want to jump into talking about pricing and all of those things, or did anyone have any other questions you guys can put in the chat? And then I might have to ask you to unmute. We've changed some settings so that we can capture this recording a little bit.
We do have on Facebook, and I'm just gonna kind of ask another question to her comment while Elise starts. But Cynthia said I just want my first client. So what are you doing marketing wise, Cynthia, or have you started marketing? Okay, and then Angie said the same thing. And if y'all want to hop on the Zoom, feel free to hop on, and then we can actually chat with y'all a little bit easier than just going back and forth through the text. Yeah, absolutely. First client is we have to get started. So we can give them a second if they want to join on Zoom so we can do the 1099s, and then Cynthia, that's totally okay if you haven't started. Oh, so you haven't started marketing. She hasn't started marketing yet. I mean, I would definitely, then you need to start. I mean, that's how you're gonna get the first client, essentially. We have our 5-day marketing challenge, which would be a start, to get you started. We can post a link, it's free, to kind of get you started there. But I mean, you really need to decide what marketing avenue you really want to take. Are you planning on doing social media, in-person networking, anything along those lines? It looks like Cynthia's hopping on as well.
I'm gonna post the link to the marketing challenge.
Okay. Hey Cynthia, how are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. So have you thought about how you want to market your business?
Not really. I hadn't really thought about it. I am doing taxes like right now. Seems like I'm trying to do a whole lot. Like maybe I'm
Okay.
trying to do taxes and bookkeeping and a lot of different services.
Okay. Or do you have you done taxes before? Or are you trying to learn all of this and do it all at one time?
No, I did taxes last year, but
Okay.
I took the Coursera course, the bookkeeping course after tax season. I finished that and got the certificate. So I really haven't marketed the bookkeeping um, because there was a lot still with the taxes I had to do, like, the P10, the EFIN, and all the other things that had to be done as well for just for taxes.
Okay. Go ahead,
That's a
Sharon.
lot to do both. So I actually, I'm a tax preparer as well, and I actually felt like it was a distraction to the recurring revenue that bookkeeping provides. So there are a couple of things that you can do. You could package bookkeeping and tax prep together so that you're still getting that recurring revenue. I know a
Okay.
lot of tax preparers now just do, like, if they're wanting that bookkeeping recurring revenue, they just focus on doing business taxes instead of personal too. But there's also, and this is why the why is so important, because doing taxes is a skill, right? And so depending on your level of comfortability around taxes, I did with Elise, is a tax preparer as well. And I know with her, we came up with how do you hit 6 figures with just tax prep? And if you're able to come up with like a $2,500 package, so you're doing the bookkeeping, or you're doing like tax planning with the taxes, or there's something you're doing with taxes, right? That's only 40 clients at 2,500 to hit 6 figures.
Wow.
But normally, bookkeeping packages can start anywhere from 3 to 650, depending on where you want to start. I start at 500. I know a lot of people here start at 300. You could start higher too. So let's say you started at 500, or let's just say 300, since that's more common here, that I see. So times 12, that's 3,600 plus 2,500. That's 6,100 a year per client, right?
Okay.
So if you want, I'm just using 6 figures because that's often people don't know what to say income wise. So they say, I want to hit 100,000, right? So 6,000 per client, that's 16 clients, only 16 tax returns you have to do. Only. Like, right? So like, does that change, does that allow you to do some more things than you were going to do before? We want to be strategic with how we set that up, and we want to make sure it matches your skill set, so that you don't get in over your head and like have that stress. But yeah, only 16 clients is what you would need for that. And if you charged more for bookkeeping, or if you had more complex clients, like if you niched in construction and they're doing class tracking, you'll need about 10 clients.
Okay, so that would be the other thing is, once, like you complete the courses, you learn a little bit about bookkeeping, but then everyone says niche. But then what does that really mean in terms of, what I like or don't like? Because I've never really done the books other than like for my own personal business right now, I'm doing the book.
I'm going to argue with niching. You don't have to. So I did just say it, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Okay.
Megan has never, she tried to niche. Her name is
And
Harvest
it
Books.
didn't
I'll
work.
put her for a second. Her name is Harvest Books. She was going to do farming. I don't think she's ever done a farming client.
Okay.
Okay, so like niches can be great. You also hear the phrase riches are in the niches. I don't know who said that, right?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to not focus necessarily right now because it sounds like we're trying to figure out what we're offering. So the
Yeah.
first thing we're going to do to niche. My niche, by the way, if it wasn't a niche, but my niche. Okay, actually, so when I first got started, real estate appraisers was my niche because I was doing financial analysis. So if they needed property, so like people that were in real estate who needed so I was like real estate investors, real estate property, buying property, renting property, all of those things. That was my niche. But my niche for bookkeeping became my local area, which at that time was the Phoenix metro area. And I
Okay.
was frequently listed on top 10 bookkeepers in Phoenix. So that was my niche, my local niche.
Okay.
And I just made all of my SEO Phoenix. Okay. Two, for you, your niche is going to be the solution that you're solving. So you need 16 clients that resonate with the solution you offer.
Okay.
With taxes and bookkeeping, and it sounds like bookkeeping is a little light. So what is that? Is that becoming an S corp because you can save them 5,000 because or like what is it that you can do to solve a client's problem? So they need tax prep, obviously, they need bookkeeping, but it's not just we do those two. What is the problem we can then address and call out? And that's what we're going to call out. And we're going to call that out everywhere in our marketing, that one problem. And we're going to speak to it in like 4 phases. And then as you market on Facebook, you're going to week 1, you're going to talk about that phase. So you're going to go live, then you're going to do a Q&A, then you're going to, did you catch the replay? Like you're going to do a series on that one phase. And then you're going to do phase 2, then phase 3, then phase 4, and go through just marketing. And every month you're going to do the same thing on that one problem. And thankfully for tax preparers, yes, you're in busy season, but you only need 16 clients. So you're going to work for those clients through October. Because you have through October. So you're going to also be marketing to those that have filed extensions and had no clue who to ask for help.
Right.
Right. And you're gonna do it in person. You're gonna tell everyone. Can I guest blog? Can I guest in like whatever it is? You're gonna decide what it is you're gonna focus on, and then you're gonna do it times 10 of what you think you need to do.
Okay. I got it. I kind of worked with a lot of small businesses last year with our sole proprietors who I ended up doing some bookkeeping for because they didn't keep their books.
So make sure you're charging for it.
Yes.
But yeah, so 16 clients. You don't need more than 16 clients.
Okay, cool.
You might have more this season because you're gonna have those repeat clients, but we want to move. I think if it were me, so this is me talking for me, my opinion, and what I would do. Wish I had done 16 clients, a better package.
Okay. And for me, it probably wouldn't be 16 clients because right now I'm working. I just want to work towards maybe 4 clients because this for me is kind of like, not necessarily, it's a side hustle as well.
So 4 clients, that's 24,000 a year, working 4 months of the year.
Yes.
And 5 hours a month, then
Right.
that's fantastic. So yeah, absolutely.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And if I, choose, if I wanted to take on more than 4, but if I get the goal of 4, then that to me is reasonable. It helps me what my ultimate goal is when I retire, I'll be able to do this full time. But it gives me the experience too.
Yep. Yep. And slow and steady is a great way to go. And Elise, I know you had a question as well. I know we're running out of time. Cynthia, does that help though? Like get you kind of
Yes, it does help me to,
on
I
marketing?
need to be able to market a solution to my local community that solves their problem.
Mhm. And
Um,
you can do that on Facebook too. So, joining local Facebook groups, working that 5-day marketing challenge will help, because it'll point you into how to find the groups and some of those things. So
so the 5-day marketing, do you all have, because I'm just new to this group. So I
Yep.
just,
So I just posted it in Facebook and in the chat here.
okay,
So if you want to grab either of those links, it's also on our website, cb4s.biz. But yeah, welcome to the group. Glad to have you.
okay.
And Elise, I know I don't want to neglect or not leave time for your question on 1099 pricing.
Got it.
Oh, it should be pretty simple, and it's just my first year. I have a large desktop client, and so I'm going like literally after this call, I'm gonna turn around and watch the one from that y'all did with oh my gosh. Anyways, the guy, the CPA that you guys had on. Thank
Meryl.
you. I like remembered his name at the beginning of the call, and now my brain is shot. But I feel like I heard somewhere when it's 1099s, do $50 to set up or $100 to set up and then charge $50 per, and that includes us paying for the 1099 like the cost of it through like e-file biz or whatever. And so I'm just wondering, A, do you agree with that kind of pricing? And B, if they were to pay for the actual like software piece itself, like what that would change to pricing wise in your mind?
I agree with it for the most part. I was trying to pull up mine because I don't remember all of the ins and outs. It's one of our coaches that said 100 base, and then X amount per 1099. I know that one of our coaches, our VIP coaches, she does less than 50 per. So that could, so it's up to you there, like on the pricing. I do include the cost, like I price so that I'm including the cost of filing per form, because it's like $6-ish, give or take, to file each form.
Okay.
I charge so that I just cover the cost. You could, but like that's why I'm charging per 1090, like per form. That I'm
Okay.
filing. So you're going to factor in your hourly rate plus the form cost, and then the time it costs you to set up. So and it's going to be different. So here's some parameters when we're thinking about 1099 pricing. Who is verifying who needs a 1099? Who's going through who's making the list? Who's checking the list and who's responsible for the list? That's one price. Are you doing that, or are you the client? And I would charge if you're doing it, right? Because it takes time. And then how long is that going to take you? 2, how much time is it going to take you to verify that list? So it gets done, you're going to verify it. Then, one of the reasons I use a software outside of QuickBooks 1099 is I like to verify the 10 match. That way I don't get, the client doesn't get letters 6 months in saying, hey, this didn't match. QuickBooks, last time I used it, did not allow me to verify tens. So
What
I
software
don't.
do you use?
I use the same one Merrill does. It's tax 1099. Then there's 1099 tax as well.
Track
I
track
track.
1099 too. That's what I use.
Yeah,
Okay.
so track 1099, and then there's tax. What's it called? There's tax 1099 and track 1099. Merrill uses tax 1099. I use tax 1099. That's just what I found first. I think that's what Merrill found first, and then track 1099. There's a couple of differences, but they're slight. They're slight differences. They work really similarly.
No problem. It's just, it's my desktop client. And so, and they're pretty large. And so it is definitely going to take a lot of work. So that's why, but we have a meeting about it on Monday, and I've been putting off watching the webinar, and I'm like, okay, it's time to get that done. And then I have another potential, I have a couple other potential desktop clients coming on that are using like enterprise or whatever. Thankfully they all have a remote connection, but it's a little bit different than online. So thank you.
So yeah, if you think about it, and you're charging 25 per 1099, and they have 100 1099s, that's $2,500. If you're charging 50 and there's 100, that's 5,000.
Yeah, she was good with the 50, and I told her, I said I would be charging 100 to set up and 50 per, and she was like, I don't care as long as it's done right. And I'm like, cool. But they're also planning on selling, so that's another reason they're wanting it done,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure. Someone was like $50, and I was like, I don't know, that's what I heard, and it seems fine to me, but
I think I more
like-
frequently hear 25, but at the end of the day, you're providing peace of mind, you're providing a service, you're getting it done quickly, and there's a quick turnaround on it. So,
True. Kind of like when people charge 300 for a tax return and I charge 500. I'm like, yeah.
and I'm told every day, all day long, that I'm too expensive, and I know there's plenty of bookkeepers that charge more than me. So,
Yep,
absolutely.
same. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope everyone had a really happy new year. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up. I saw some messages, chats. Was there anything left unanswered, Megan?
I don't think so.
I have a quick
Angie,
one.
I'll send the one-to-one link for you. Yeah, Chastity.
So I got a little confused with the calendar. Is this at 11 every week now, or is it still at 10?
We just changed it to 11.
Okay.
It was conflicting with another call that we had, and we did that for like, what, 6 months, and it just isn't the best. So hopefully this still works. Let us know if it doesn't.
That's fine. I just didn't want to miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're working on some reminders and some things like that. We're changing some systems around. So hopefully that helps in the future as well. So pay attention, kind of watch for that. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for showing up. Have a happy new year. And if you have any questions on your goals or things like that, you know where to find us. So ask in the group, get on a one-to-one. All of those things there. Good luck this month, and we were here for you if you need it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.